Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are doing the season review for Jimmy Butler III. Jimmy Butler came to the Golden State Warriors on February 8th and immediately just changed the identity of the team. The Warriors were sitting ducks at 25 and 26, 11th in the West, and since they got Jimmy, they finished 7th in the West and went 23 in that span. And if I told you this, you would probably think that Jimmy averaged like 30 points per game and was this, insane second option, maybe even the first option for Steph or whatever. But no, Jimmy, especially in the regular season, he was, I don't want to say passive, but he was not like playoff Jimmy coming in, taking 20 shots a night and just completely just taking over games all the time. No, what he did was so much more than that. He was a connector, as Buddy Hield says, except Buddy Hield can't spell the word. Buddy Hield can't spell the word connector, as we found out in an interview. And Jimmy he made the chemistry better. Jimmy said, "I die for these guys." He fought for every single person on this team, whether it was Steph, whether it was Pat Spencer. Every single person on this team, Jimmy fought for. The chemistry went up significantly. There was a different mood in the locker room, right? There was a energy shift. Like, okay, this is it. We have a team. We have a team now. We can compete for a championship, and I think that's what makes this acquisition so much better for the future as well. Because now the Warriors, they were so, like, I don't want to say tired, but you could see that they had less energy because they played a 31 game gauntlet plus a playing game just to make the playoffs. So you have to play 31 playoff games, basically. That's what the Warriors did. They played 31 playoff games. Each game mattered so much. There was no games where you could just take off. And Jimmy was there for all but, I think, 1 or 2 games where he played. And he had some games where he had 30, 25, 27, but he had some games where he had 11, 15, 17. But those games, he was just as effective as if he would have had 30 points because he was creating space for Steph. Steph was still getting double teamed, but it wasn't an egregious double team where Steph can't really create. Steph Curry, like I said, he went from 22 a game to 28 a game in the Jimmy Butler stretch, right? And Jimmy Butler also unlocked Pajemski. He unlocked Moses Moody at some point. He really unlocked Quinton Post because Quinton Post was a very valuable piece in the rotation in the later part of the year. So he unlocked all these guys, right? He's still capable of taking over games, especially in the fourth quarter. The Warriors, the free throw line disparity completely went away. The Warriors went from being the worst free throw team in the NBA to the best free throw team in the NBA in the 31 game stretch. That is just how good Jimmy Butler is. And listen, if you want to say the way he played the last couple games of the playoffs, he was hurt, okay? I know some people don't want to hear it, but he was really hurt. That butt injury that he had, it's not like a injury you can just play off. But Jimmy Butler played it off to be able to help Steph Curry compete. And Jimmy Butler, like, I can't say enough about what he did for this team this season. And he's coming back next year. They're running it back with the big three. Obviously, there's going to be, other pieces that are going to be moved or get. But the core of Steph, Jimmy, and Dre is a very good core to have. And Jimmy Butler, when he needed to take over, we saw him take over. We saw him have 36 against the Clippers. We saw him have 38 against the Grizzlies. We saw him in game 1 have 27 points with Steph's 31. Then he got hurt in game 2, still came back, had 27 in game 4 while basically on a broken butt. Right? So he was playing obviously hurt. But look at these passes right here. He's a connector. He's finding other guys. He's unlocking other guys. Buddy Hield came out of a slump, right? All these things happen because of Jimmy Butler. So it's going to be very interesting to see in the following season, especially when you get a full year of Jimmy Butler now, a full year of being able to practice with him. You have a whole training camp with him, create plays. Because the way that this doesn't usually happen with NBA players, when you trade for a superstar, it's not really an impact like that. Like, that type of impact is so rare to immediately come in and click. Immediately. There was no period of, oh, let him get adjusted. No. It was, Jimmy's on our team. We go 23-8 to finish off the year. It's like, and you started off you started off. What hold on, I'm trying to figure out what they start off. They start off really good. They went 2-0, 2-1, 7-1, 7-2. They won 14-2 in their first 16 games with Jimmy Butler. I just want I just want you to grasp that that's not normal. Okay? When you trade for a superstar like Jimmy Butler, that's not normal. Okay? That doesn't happen. If you want to look at some trades in the past, the Suns trading for Kevin Durant, where there was a period where they didn't mesh well, and that's fine because you have to adjust. It's Kevin Durant coming to the Suns, right? Now he's playing Devin Booker. He's another guy who needs the ball in his hands to be able to, really attack. But that's what makes this special. Jimmy Butler does not need the ball in his hands to be effective. Steph Curry does not need the ball in his hands to be effective. So Steph could say, I'm perfectly fine with playing off ball and having you bring the ball up. Jimmy Butler could say the same thing, and they just work around that. The only flaw I will give to Jimmy Butler is there were times this season where he was too passive. There were some games where you could look back saying, yeah, no, Jimmy had to take more shots. And I think with time, that's maybe the one thing that does need time. And Jimmy Butler now knows that heading into next year. Hey, in the fourth quarter, I got to stop passing the ball to Quinton Post, and I got to start, taking some jump shots. But at the same time, if he doesn't do that, maybe they don't unlock Pajemski. Maybe they don't unlock a guy like Post. So it's like a double-edged sword. You take the good with the bad with Jimmy, and he signed for the next 2 years. So like I said in the last video, there's a 2-year window right now. It's this year and next year. There's 2 years on Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, Steve Kerr's contract. That's about it. They can obviously extend more, but that's really it in terms of championship windows. So it's just about how do you maximize that. And I think it's going to be really fun to see next year. I'm excited to see what Mike Dunleavy has in store, who he looks to go after, whether it is a guy like Giannis or if it's... I don't know if a guy like Giannis is completely necessary for the Warriors to be contenders next year. I think that we're contenders right now, but if we want to, really take ourselves to the next level, we definitely need size and everything. And Jimmy Butler will definitely, he's definitely going to be a guy that goes, yeah, we need size. They're going to have a talk, Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond. They said, we'll talk this summer what the team needs. But it's going to be fun to see a healthy Steph, a healthy Jimmy, healthy Draymond next year. But in terms of Jimmy Butler's grade, he's getting a B+ for the year, considering the fact that he immediately came in and changed this team maybe for the next 2-3 years in terms of how, competitive this team will be. So thank you so much for watching. If you didn't already, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment what other type of videos you would like to see. Tomorrow's NBA player will be no other than our Defensive Player of the Year, Draymond Green. So make sure you're tuned in for that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.